What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of Magic the Gathering? Maybe your first Friday night Magic? A funny memory from playing Commander with your friends? Maybe even the first deck you ever built, and how excited you were to try it out with your friends, only to find out that you had just scratched the surface of deck building and that you have a very long way to go. All of these things are very valid feelings about Magic, and ultimately the core aspects of what makes the game so fun. But today, I want to focus on a different, and in my opinion, highly overlooked aspect of Magic: flavor text. Flavor text has served multiple purposes over the history of Magic, whether that be giving context to the ever-expanding story, or even something as simple as making you laugh. It adds a sense of personality to the game that Magic may not necessarily need, but that I personally think it highly benefits from. There are plenty of Magic players that enjoy the game for one reason and one reason only: the gameplay. I would be foolish to claim that gameplay and strategy isn't the main reason that Magic has been around for over 25 years now. But there are other players that look beyond the pure function of the card, seeking something deeper than the gameplay itself. This is where flavor text shines. Let's use this card for example: Totally Lost. Now, I'm sure due to the popularity of this card, most of you know this story already, but indulge me for a minute. Imagine you are just starting to get the grip of Magic. You've made a couple of decks, participated in Friday Night Magic at your local game store, and you now know the difference between good and bad cards. You open an old pack of Gatecrash and see this. At first glance, what do you think? It's removal, which is good. 5 mana seems a little steep, especially when it doesn't completely remove the non-land permanent, but at instant speed, it could make for a nice tempo play on the opponent's turn. Overall, you probably write it off as a purely limited card and move on to the rest of the pack. Now, let's introduce the flavor text. What changes? Your eyes instantly gravitate towards the name Fblthp. You're so intrigued by it that it takes a minute to actually process the rest of the sentence. Once you make it past the name, you read the entire phrase, and that instantly pushes your focus to the artwork. You want to know who Fblthp is, and why he hates crowds so much. The artwork depicts a strange, one-eyed creature lost in a sea of feet, looking scared and alone. Suddenly, you connect the name of the card, Totally Lost, to the artwork, and you're left with newfound feelings for this poor little creature and the hope that he somehow makes it out alive. Without the flavor text, this card is cast aside as many other commons are, forgotten like other pieces of draft chaff. With it though, you now have a new character to root for. You play it in your deck now, not because you find it valuable in gameplay, but rather because you've made a small connection with poor Fblthp and his fear of crowds. This could then prompt you to try and make a homunculus EDH deck with Fblthp's new card in War of the Spark. Before you know it, your interest in the flavor text of this simple common has given you a new deck to laugh about with your friends, and an appreciation of flavor and art has successfully affected your gameplay experience in Magic. You have come full circle, all due to a weird little name in a single, short sentence at the bottom of a common. This is just one, admittedly popular, example of what flavor text adds to Magic the Gathering. There are tens of thousands of different cards in Magic's history, and while every one may not have flavor text, there are still a vast amount of cards that have stories waiting to be told. Wizards has even been doing their part lately in trying to emphasize the flavor and story with the Story Spotlight cards. These cards give a great idea as to the story direction of the block, but I encourage you to dig deeper, because each and every card holds a piece of the story, small and large alike. To sum this up, I believe flavor text is the gentle invitation to participate in the story and art of Magic the Gathering. While Magic could survive without flavor text, I believe it adds something deeper for those who seek it. It paves the way to discovering the artists of Magic and the phenomenal work they do in those tiny card frames. It gives context to vast worlds and planes that you can delve into. It gives life and personality to new characters and races that may not have had it before. So the next time you're pulling a pack or opening a box to draft with your friends, take a moment and read that small subtext as you shuffle through your new cards. You never know where it may take you.